It says there dual microphone.
Testing. Can you hear us?
Your speaker is definitely working.
So good. Come on. Can you hear me now, Peter? Awesome. Now, I don't know where Hardy's disappeared to. Yeah. We've got Sasha and John here as well. Are any of the Brisbane guys joining us or not? I can't hear you at all, Peter. No, Mike. What? Okay. Can we see if the Brisbane guys are joined or not? I don't see them on my screen. Cool. He's back. We couldn't get the microphone working on yours.
Oh, no.
So
You connected this.
I don't know. So I've got to connect it to mine, and Peter can hear me. And
but you can't. You've got no image, or you need the.
Well, it's through my camera, but you can see us in the little room on your one. It's also connected. Like they're both connected. And yeah,
who else?
Just waiting for Jeff from Brisbane. He was going to dial in as well.
I'm going to go next door. It's been some family emergency to mess with compost and stuff.
Yeah, no worries.
But I'll be just give me a yell from the or something.
Okay. So I'll just wait for Jeff to connect and then we'll get started.
I'll be action.
Yeah, no worries. We'll get started eventually.
Yeah.
Plug Hardy's camera in. Reach.
Let's just put it up to the.
That's alright, that's alright. That's an idea. I should have brought my little one.
Share your screen rather than the camera. That might be better so everyone can see what we're in as well.
Yeah, as I said, I've never used Google Hangouts, so. Screen share, cool.
You can look at Google Hangouts up there, so you get Peter's when he's typing. You can see that.
Cool. I'll just get Hardy's camera connected here. Disconnected here. Disconnecting that. Oh, Logitech camera showing. Oh, there we go. We're back. Cool. hangout thing on the side and still share the screen. Drew's here.
He's talking.
I think he's muted. How do we unmute Drew? You're muted at the moment, Drew. We can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Ah, cool. Hey, dude.
How you going?
I was okay. I was there at 10 minutes past 6, but couldn't see anyone, so I thought I got my dates mixed up and came home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was someone else in that room, so we put a sign on there and we've moved just around the corner to a different room.
I should have thought anyway. My bad.
That's all good.
Sorry, guys.
We're just waiting for Jeff in Brisbane to connect as well.
Yeah, no worries. Oh. How about now? No?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear you still, yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is that you zooming in and out the camera, or is that automatic, Drew?
It's automatic, and for the life of me, I can't stop the sucker. It's an alien machine.
It's just funny.
But I'm not talking.
No. Strange.
Let me see if I can do some voodoo.
What do you reckon? Should we just get started? Yeah. Not like doing on the Jeff. Okay. So basically this Save My Site is on joomla.org.au, which we all know is where is it? Bring that up. Can you see that on my screen, Drew?
Not yet. There seems to be a 30-second delay when I talk, and then when I hear myself back through the system.
I want to see what's going on with the sharing. Full screen.
He says he can't see anything.
Okay, can you see it now? Yep. Cool. Okay, so our current site, joomla.org.au, is supposed to represent the Australian community, but to me it looks a little bit embarrassing at the moment. Like, it's not very nicely designed, and yeah, it doesn't really have much reason for people to come back to the site. We're pretty much on the front page here, just got links to the different meetup groups. We've got the main content area here, which has various articles on there. The main articles that we have there, we've got the Brisbane guys are starting to record their meetings, so they're putting their monthly meetings on there. And Canberra announced their meetings on there as well, so reading in Canberra. Every time we have a Joomla release, I go in and add the details in here for the Joomla release as well. And
I think I got there.
oh, good. Jeff's here.
Hey, that looks
How you
familiar
going?
screen. Good. Sorry, you got a side head view.
Sorry. Can you see the site on my screen, the joomla.org.au?
Yeah, I can see our last meeting up at the moment.
Yep. So I'm just quickly saying about what we've got on the site at the moment. So at the moment we've got the meetup groups down the side. We've got the main content area, which has got a few articles, but it's really just yourself, Jeff, adding the content there. Rini in Canberra adding the Canberra user group information, and whenever there's a Joomla release, I add the information in there. But beyond that, there's not a lot of other information on that homepage in that content area. Then we've got a link here for SiteGround. That's just a discount link for the Australian Joomla community to get slightly cheaper hosting. Then we've got latest forum posts, and underneath that we've got links to user group pages. Now, when we originally started this site a long time ago, before we were using Meetup, we managed all the meetings and announcements and stuff through the site, so each user group had its own page on the site, and we added the meeting announcements and stuff on there. But more recently that's all moved off to Meetup and to other sites. And then we've got the Twitter links down the bottom here for the various job groups, but there's only Canberra, Melbourne and Sydney, so really there should be Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Canberra. Oh, it's got Canberra, okay, Newcastle, and any other jug groups that are missing there. So, as you can see, there's bugger all content on that main site, and not really much reason for anyone to come back to it. Then we've got the forum, or actually, I'll just show you the contact form first. There's a very basic contact form which has been disabled, and then we have the forum itself, which is really the main content of the site at the moment. But if you look at it, the categories that we've got there, we've got a few general ones, general discussion, a job, so when anyone has a job that they'd like done, or a job that they're looking for people, they can post there. And then we've got some tips, some troubleshooting, and a couple other sections down here for the various user groups. We've got Melbourne, Sydney and Adelaide, but we don't have in Perth, we don't have a Brisbane section, we don't have a Canberra section, we don't have Newcastle. It's just missing a lot of information there. And then further down, some off-topic and bug reports. So if you look at the recent topics, you can see that this forum doesn't get a lot of activity. The last post was almost 3 weeks ago. So in the past it was a much more active forum, but it's very much died off in the last couple of years, and it's a bit of a ghost town at the moment. So there really isn't any reason for people to come back to the site at the moment. So what we need to do is think about how we can redo this site, make it more usable, give people a reason to come back, help start meeting some of the needs of the user groups around the country, and yeah, just basically bring it back to life, because it's pretty well dead. So I've got some feedback from a few people. At the moment there's a perception that the joomla.org.au doesn't meet the needs of the job groups. It doesn't really have anything for the individual groups at all there. Got the comment that it should be more inclusive of the rank and file. So at the moment there's only administrators that can add content to the site, but there's a suggestion that anyone should be able to add content. Like any member of any user group in Australia should be able to add an article on there, potentially go through an approval process before it's published, but be able to get input from basically anyone, not just from administrators. Um, we yeah, just the point that we're not competing with the local web presences for the JUG groups, so we're not proposing that we redesign joomla.org.au and then scrap all the meetup groups and scrap all the other sites that people are using at the moment, the LinkedIn groups, the Facebook groups, Twitter, all that sort of stuff. This new design of the site should be basically a one-stop shop to get to all that content, but it's not going to replace those individual content stores. And what else? There's suggestions that we should have more activity in LinkedIn, but that's sort of separate to this discussion. And what else we got here? Yeah, that's about it for now. So I think we should do a bit of a brainstorm and think about what we actually want on this site, what's the vision of the site, what's the purpose of it, and come up with some ideas. Let's see what Pete's written here. Peter would like to promote Joomla, use content blog where companies, people can push things out the site and help area community. So I'll start taking notes of ideas. What do you guys think?
Do you want to run a round table or something so we're not all jumping in on each other?
Probably a good idea. Sasha, do you want to start?
Yes, I can remember the site when it was like after each meeting, all the notes would go up on this site kind of thing. So you get all the any code samples or whatever that the speaker put up, they put it up here. But now we're using Meetup a lot more, and I think that's really good for collecting everything about each meetup goes into Meetup. And so I don't think you need to duplicate that onto this site.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that we're not doing that anymore and just have everything in the one spot. So now we've got to sort of think, okay, what content should go on this site? And yeah, like what Pete said about people putting content on, so just people in the community adding articles, I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, same with the forum. Like the forum was used a lot just about the meetings really, and then you had some other sections that are like a job board and just like helping each other out. So for those things, I'd sort of want to keep, but keep all the Meetup sort of stuff on Meetup.
Yep.
And I guess you sort of want it to attract new people to the groups that have maybe the one page for each group sort of saying what it is and sort of push them to meet up to do all that sort of thing. And then the rest of the site can be about what the community is doing, what people are doing in the community, just helping each other, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I'd sort of look at, yeah.
Yep.
John? Well, I didn't really know about the site until you spoke about it. So
Yeah.
I've never really come in and had a look at it. But to me, it maybe should be the central hub for Joomla Australia.
Yeah.
And that if you're doing anything on LinkedIn or if you're doing anything on Meetup, there should always be a continual reference back in to the central hub. And then from the central hub for Australia, then there should be other connections. I mean, what Pete's mentioning there, but also to training, to reference sites. And when I first started researching, I was trying to work out who's using Joomla and WordPress and so on. And I didn't know which sites were using what applications.
Yeah.
And maybe there should be a reference site that you can actually say these are companies using Joomla, and that would give you a little bit of a warm feeling as well.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of stuff on Joomla itself that is maybe not that easy to access. For me, it's a lot about training, so that's where my interest is. But I guess as a hub, that's where I would see it fitting.
Yep. See what Peter's written here. Yeah, it would be good to have a showcase of sites that are built on Joomla that have been built by our community and that are used in Australia, so we can say that these are the popular Australian sites. Yeah. Jeff, did you want to chip in some comments?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Yeah.
One is, I don't think it's duplicating in one way, but we've got our meetup the way we run it up here, and we've used everything on the meetup we can possibly do at the moment towards the group. The reason being that we didn't know about joomla.org.au, but transferring out, we video every meeting,
Yeah.
and transferring that through is no hardship at all to transfer that through, and most of those are training sessions, so they're on one subject or another. They don't interest everybody every time, of course, but quite willing to keep putting those up there, for instance, into a set area, probably onto our page. If each group has a page, then we'd contribute those into the Brisbane page. The other thing I'd like to see used a lot more is the forum. I mean, we don't really have any joint Australian forum, as far as I'm concerned. I've been using LinkedIn discussion groups and that, and quite vocal on some of those, but at the end of the day, I'd be much better off in an Australian forum. And I don't know about you guys, we have 300 and something country members who can't get to meetings, and that's the reason we video the meetings, is so that they get to still play a part. I found out how important that was. I went to cut a few of them out last year. I wanted to prime down the list. I figured if people aren't turning up at meetings, why are they a member? But then I got all of these abusive emails saying, don't you dare cut us off, you know, this is our only way we can get to there. So consequently, then we thought, well, yeah, it's very important. We used to do every so often, we'd do a video of a meeting, so now we regularly video every meeting so that they've got somewhere to come back and watch it. We're also setting up by the next meeting, we're going to have our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter and Google accounts up and running. Once again, they can be linked in through the Brisbane page. Brisbane, I'm saying Brisbane, I meant Queensland really, I guess. But they'll be linked in through our page on there as well, I guess, so that we can access anybody at any time. And as for access to the website, I don't know whether everybody needs access, because everyone's got access to the forums and can ask questions and ask things. Does everybody need to be posting content, as in the rank and file? Not that I've got anything against anybody who does it, but I think if it's left to just a few people in each jug to be responsible for looking after their sections, because otherwise we could end up in a situation where you're getting non-helpful stuff posted as well if it's open to everybody.
Yeah, well, what we're suggesting is that having the ability for anyone to post an article, but it needs to go through an approval process before it's published. So the administrators would still need to publish it before it goes live.
Oh, that's fine then.
So it can give anyone the ability to create that content, because at the moment we've got, I think it was something like 13 administrators. I don't know how many of them are actually active, but there's probably only about 3 of us that add content to the site at the moment. It'd be good to get content from the sources. Just on that point of the recorded meetups, we actually once did have a virtual meetup. For the Newcastle group, I did a presentation remotely for their group, and we did that as a, I think it was a Google Hangout or something like that, but or it might have been via Skype. But either way, we could potentially do some special meetups that don't have a physical presence, that just are remote for everyone to dial into.
Yeah, that could be good as well, especially for some of us in the other states and so on to join in and bring back information into our own meetups as well. Would be good. What was I going to say? But having the having videoed sessions is not bad. I mean, if people want to watch them, they can. If they don't, they don't.
True.
The access is there.
I think it's really good. Like, we just haven't done it at Sydney because we haven't had the equipment. But
I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't.
We should be doing more regularly, and it shouldn't just be the Brisbane guys video. It should be all the Jug groups videoing their meetings and sharing the content.
Yeah, it'd be great sharing some meetings and that as well. When we rather than crossing over content, it'd be nice. My biggest push, I guess, for the site would be getting the forum live and From my point, I would be using my meetup, which is the easiest way for me to get information out at the moment, getting out to everybody and saying, please join the forums, let's get some discussions happening and so on. And doing it that way, because once you start getting a lively forum and people know about it, that's the other point, is getting people to know about it. Once we've done that, then consequently the site becomes more live as well and useful to people, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think once we've given a bit of a revamp and make it look a bit prettier and upgrade it to Joomla 3, people will want to go back to the site. And if we promote the forum and encourage people to post there instead of putting a question on Meetup, then yeah, hopefully we can kick it back into action.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, go Hardy.
My question is, like, I've always sort of mentioned that point a few times in the past, is we're always sort of building the content and the site and different channels around Joomla. I think what we should also be building is like a content strategy moving forward, where we're trying to attract people to the CMS. People who just want a website, they don't know what Joomla is.
Yeah.
So if that means we write a series of blog articles and posts and tutorials, is how to build a website, but yeah, here's a great article to do it with. Having some sort of a plan and a strategy around that, and looking, like I do regular searches online, trying to find out what people are searching for. And quite a lot of people, businesses, are asking for building a website, building my own website as a common question. If we can get that sort of coming up from a content perspective on the front page of Google, and hey, it's Joomla, then we're potentially looking at probably about thousands of the potential people in Australia who are looking to build a website, and we just need to introduce Joomla to them. And by making it all central and vibrant community on the .org website, then it gives them that sort of confidence that there is enough support out there to get started.
Yeah,
and that's sort of my look, looking at it from Joomla, from an outside perspective of, okay, well, if I don't know Joomla. And I'm happy to put a plan together for that as well.
Yeah. Well, I think we need that content plan as to how, and what information we want to get on there and how we're going to do it. It doesn't have to be the one person doing it. Just get that plan in place, and then we can get volunteers to contribute that content. Just looking at the comments Pete's written there about the articles from Butterfly Internet. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but there've been some really good articles they've written lately. Some technical comparison of Drupal, and there was also one they wrote about Framework and Framework, which is based on my Joomla Day presentation. And they've written a few other interesting ones as well. But they're starting to push the content out there and become a bit more well known in the community. What else?
Tim, is my mic working yet?
Oh yeah, your mic's working now, Pete. Go for it.
Great, cool. I was just commenting there in the chat that we should probably do a user analysis and persona research into the actual users that are using this site, and ourselves, how we're actually going to use the site too. Be great to break that down, really understand our audience, and build the site exactly for them, so they can have the best usage, I guess, user experience on the site overall.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be basing it on the usage of the current site, because I think that what we're going to do is going to be so much different to what's there now.
Yeah, so we should look at how each persona wishes to use the site and try and integrate some of that functionality into it, and if we actually even need it.
So the personas of like a newbie that's never heard of Joomla, and then the persona of someone who uses Joomla but wants more information about what's going on in the local community and that sort of thing.
All the way up to high-level developers and agencies that use Joomla and how they would interact with this website.
That's a good idea.
Yep. Have you done that sort of thing before?
Sure, I have. Do it every day.
Awesome. So that's something that you'll be able to lead?
I'll create a Google Doc and start that up, and we can develop the personas and the people that are behind all of this, and find out, and do the research behind it, and find out exactly how people are going to do their bits and pieces, or how they're going to use the site.
Yeah. Peter, why are you hiding?
Hey?
Why are you hiding in a warehouse?
Oh, yeah, it's tea. Boxes of tea. I'm surrounded by boxes of tea.
He drinks lots of tea.
Yeah. It's, I don't know how many. That's a lot. It's a lot of tea.
Yeah. Drew, did you want to chip in a few words?
Yes, how about now?
Yep.
Fantastic. Look, I'm a Joomla user, and I've used the forum in the past to chase down small bugs as I start to learn how to do things. Remember, I started in Sydney Jug Group knowing nothing, and I've been there for 3 or 4 years, I suppose, and probably know even less. But I'm actually actively using Joomla. I'm talking to my mates interstate about it, and I think it would be great if they had some form of login capacity where they could dial in or watch some videos or something like that. They could suck it and see. And I think from a developer's point of view, that's really the way that you actually create your market of people who actually need your skills. So I think a showcase would be good, but a showcase chasing common bugs. It might be a common K2 bug or a common interaction bug with a commercial gateway or something. Newbies, but also just intermediates, and I think that's where I am. And everyone would go down a similar road if they were Joomla users like myself. I work in the financial services space. So I think a central presence with recorded videos where they could suck it and see first and then physically go along to a meeting later on if they wanted, and then of course interact with the developers there and have work done.
So are you suggesting videos outside our normal Jug meetings, like people just recording training videos on a particular thing and getting it uploaded to the site as well?
Yeah, I think it's anything, because it's like you could showcase a website that uses ostensibly Joomla, but there will be other components as well, and it's about integration. And I think that's where, if we become precious and say it's Joomla way or the highway, the economic reality is that sometimes we need to do other things that will extend Joomla, or that we're learning about, or that we're yet to involve ourselves with. So I think anything that shows, hey, these are the box of tools that we go to when we're building an ostensibly Joomla-based website. I think it's great. If I was a developer, I'd be promoting this, because that's where my business would be from. It's actually sort of saying to people, here's the easy on-ramp, here is the community, look what we can do.
Sounds good.
Wouldn't that be similar, Drew, to what we do in our meetups? I don't know if you looked at any of our videos, but we actually do constantly comparisons of different, like the last 3 videos that were up there, for instance, are just all about form makers, for instance, which is an extension of Joomla. And that's what we continually do our meetings on, because to keep people interested, we've got to keep looking at the extras rather than just saying this is Joomla, this is the change in Joomla. These are the tools that you add in. You know, we had we looked at K2, for instance, or we're forever searching for new things we're going to look at, and every so often we'll bring in social media people, specialists in their area, because that's an add-on, even though it's not particularly Joomla. It's still an extension. And as for looking for answers in things, I think that's where the forum's really important, because it doesn't matter who you are, a newbie or an expert, you should have a need for a forum, and there should be an area you go into and speak at the level you need to.
Jeff, I agree. I didn't know that you existed.
That's all right, I didn't know you did.
And there is the challenge, because I think we could make more money now that we know each other exists. And my friends in Brisbane, I could say, hey, there is a group there, howbeit it's centralised in Joomla Australia, but this is the easy on-ramp, and that's the really important thing.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. So,
What do we have? We need to
just looking at my list of other things. If we set out a broad vision of the site to increase awareness of Joomla and encourage usage in Australia, and to support the Jug groups as well, and making it a single point of entry for everything Joomla in Australia. Does that sort of well with everyone?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Works for me. Can I suggest that you might consider 5 base categories, saying a Joomla for service-orientated businesses could be a archetype or master group, Joomla for technical businesses or something, and that way you actually create smaller communities for people of like nature and like business to come together and say, I also work in the financial services, how would you do this? So I think remember some time ago there was a CSS site on the Zen of CSS, and it was the one site done 5 ways with just pure CSS. In the same way, you could have, this is how you could do not so much a Joomla site, but this is how you could use Joomla to achieve the same result 5 different ways, and thereby you're proving to people that you are responsive to the market rather than saying the market has to change and be responsive to us. Just a thought.
Yep.
A good thought.
Okay.
What about other videos that just, I don't know what other people do. I often do little video to hand over to users after I finish their site. I find it easier than trying to write a user manual for them. Because obviously when they go, say it's a directory, product directory or something, they only update it once every 6 months or something. Therefore, by doing a little video of it, from the user's perspective, they've got that to watch, and it seems to work okay.
Yeah, I think that would be really good if we could get videos like that, get people to contribute them, and have little videos that show particular how-tos on different topics, how to use this extension, how to upload images, and how to just do the basic things that a newbie might want to know, or someone who hasn't used that extension wants to know.
I normally do, Jeff, and I do a lot of videos for clients as well, and I find it extremely useful. It's so much easier.
If we can encourage people to share the content that they're already doing for their clients, to share it with the community as well.
I can contribute some videos.
I think that would be really good.
It would save us duplicating as well if someone's already... I mean, the companies often do videos, but it's usually aimed at the developer. They really don't do the front-end user video tutorials, and consequently that's why we produce those. And from my point of view, I have no problem putting them back into the community, because that way we're not going to be duplicating. If someone's already done a good one, why should we do it again?
Well, the thing is, Jeff, I think I like the idea, but I think if we sort of looked at it, came up with a list of, let's say, 20, 30, 40 videos or topics, and we sort of said, okay, well, we'll start from here, and then we basically go through the list and produce those videos, I think that would help quite a lot.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay. The one issue I've got on my list here that we haven't really talked about at all is the commercialisation of the site. Do we want to keep it completely non-commercial, or do we want to try to help grow the Joomla businesses in Australia, help get them leads, help promote their businesses, that sort of thing? In the past, we had a Joomla resource directory that was specific for Australia, and people paid, I think, $20 a year or something like that to be in that directory. And it was just a way to connect people that were needing that type of work with people in those areas that are capable of doing those sort of things. Do we want to go down that path? And if we do, we probably need to look at having an official Joomla organisation to manage the funds and have some sort of a plan as to, if we are raising money through the site, what are we going to do with that money? Is it going to go towards flying in speakers to the next conference? Is it going to go towards pizza and beer at the jug groups? Is it going to go towards hosting fees or whatever? AdWords promoting Joomla to the general public.
Then you're going to then build up more of a community, and that community then will pay for that other stuff.
I agree. I think from my perspective, I think to reassure the users who are not familiar with Joomla, we need to show them that there is quite a large, vibrant community of developers, designers, and other agencies within Australia that can support them. It is not just here is a website, this is what Joomla is used for, and then what? I think that's where you say, well, if you you can try it, you can ask people questions, but if you really need somebody to develop it for you, here's certain resources that you can go to. You know, and if that means having a paid sort of directory that you pay an annual fee, then I think that's fine by me.
Yeah. Well, we could always start it off as a free thing anyway, just to get it going, get some content in there, and then as a planned stage 2 to get revenue from that to then pump back into the community.
I think one other way we can get leverage of that is if we were to commercialize it is by being a member on the directory, there must be some sort of a KPI that you can start contributing content and promoting the actual community side. So that way, one of the commitments is you being on the directory, you have to maybe do a couple of video tutorials, a couple of articles, and just do things that, you know what, you would actually go back to your clients and say, here is an area, this is what we did, or there's an article we wrote, you reference it back as well, instead of just few people contributing and building the content. I think one of these sort of conditions we should put on there, if we were to do that, is have a checklist of what they should be contributing as part of membership.
Yeah. And we need to come up with terms as to what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, and that sort of thing. But,
a lot of work. Is there any time set aside during the Sydney days to have a discussion about this sort of thing?
No, there isn't. But that's what the social event over a few beers is usually where these sort of discussions happen.
This is the first.
Yeah, trouble is we forget some of those.
True.
Talking about which, just a Sydney quick mention for myself and those who are going down there. Is there stuff up? I haven't seen anything on the workshops yet.
Yeah, we haven't announced those yet. What we're looking at doing is running a security workshop again this year. Shane Bartlett from Perth is going to run it again, and it's going to build on the one that he did last year. So it's going to be new material. It's not just going over the same things. There'll be a templating workshop which Peter will be running. There'll be what else do we have? An SEO workshop which Michael from Mind Media is going to be running, and we also have Rod from OSM who's coming out as our international guest speaker, and he'll be running a Joomla 101 sort of course as well probably. But yeah, we haven't finalised all the fine details of that, so we'll be announcing that officially in the next week.
Right. My only other question is, has anyone heard of Andrew Eady lately?
Andrew Eady? He's not actually coming to our conference.
I know that.
I have seen him post online trying to kick off that Icarius, which is a sort of a test bed for what may happen in Joomla in future. But yeah, beyond that, I haven't seen him.
I might take a drive. He only lives one suburb away. Just didn't want to sort of rock up there if someone's heard of him.
He's been doing a lot of work lately with Node.js and other technologies, so he hasn't been working directly in the Joomla space lately, so he's just taking a little bit of the back seat and working with code and stuff, so we might not see him for a little bit. He
loves his code, and I thought he might be tied up with his eBay day job as well.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I might drop up and see him anyway. I usually give him a lift to our meetings, that's all.
Oh, just rock on by and pick him up.
Awesome. Yeah, that's it. No, he'll be fine. If he's working, he's working. He loves his code, so he's great value to our meetings when he does turn up.
Cool.
Yeah, I think someone just needs to get together. Like Pete's going to do the persona for the website. The forum could be kicked off at any time. We just need to start advertising the forum around to everybody we possibly can and getting members into it and using it. I can't see any other way of making the forum active. We can bring in this.
Do that immediately. We could just fix up what we've got instead of waiting till we've built the new site.
Exactly.
And start promoting it a bit more, but yeah. Go on.
And if you want to give us access to a page, we'll quite happily build a Brisbane content page on there of all our links and stuff. leave the videos on the front end if you like at the moment, and until you've designed your new site, and we'll just put our contacts and all that sort of thing for Brisbane on the page.
Yep. Should we wait until we're in Joomla 3 before we do all that part? Because I'm thinking in some ways that we should scrap this site and just start a new one from scratch and just import the content that's still important, but ditch everything else. Because if you look at the back end of the site, we're running Joomla 2.5 for a start, and we're running like about 3 or 4 different security extensions, RS Firewall, Keyber Admin Tools, JSecure. There's all these things running that we need to just pick one and go with it, I think, instead of having multiple things that do the same function.
I agree with that. How long would it take to start a new site then? I mean, I love that question. I get it every day when I'm building sites. But my point is, how long till we can get a shell there that we can start using and make active, at least through the existing group? And that, for instance, I'd love to get the forums up and running, for instance.
Well, I think it's probably going to take us a couple of months to get the new site done, because what I'd like to do initially is take all the feedback from tonight here, put it together in a document and get some community feedback just to make sure that no one has any big objections to the direction that we're planning. And assuming that all goes well, we'll put together the vision and as Peter was saying, the personas and figure out exactly what we want to do strategically. And then once we've got that figured out, we can start getting volunteers to actually contribute various bits. So we can get someone to create the template, we can get someone to create some imagery for the site, and we'll get in contact with people such as yourself, Jeff, to build the Brisbane specific page and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. We've got up here, I know I've got 4 or 5 volunteers to help out when we mentioned it at the meeting, so that was a good thing. We have got 4 or 5 that are quite active, so, and we're most of the presenters most of the time for our meeting, and the others are a transient group, I guess, that moves in and out. One of the big things for us, we want to push more membership, like turning up to meetings. 15 or 20's nice, but it's not good. I'd like to pack out a room basically each time, and there's no reason we can't do that. The amount of people I keep running into didn't even know we had a Brisbane user group, so you know, we've got to do something to help us, I guess. This Penguin, is it Penguin? Pigeon. The Pigeon release from Google is going to be more centered around local sites first, gets a higher rating. So this would be the ideal time for us to move our joomla.org.au in.
Yep. Sounds good. Just sort of something else we haven't really discussed. Terms and conditions on the site. At the moment, we don't really have a privacy policy and terms of use and that sort of thing, which is bad from a compliance perspective. The Canberra user group have actually developed a site recently.
I did look at that. I was talking to, can't think of his name, the other day.
I had a good chat with Michael over the weekend, Michael Russell.
Yes, Michael Russell, yes.
And I'll just wait for this to load so you can see it. Come up eventually. Just got a crappy internet connection, I think, so.
Actually, no.
Yeah. But anyway, he's come up with a really good set of terms and conditions for the Canberra user group site, and he said that we can use it for the joomla.org.au. Just obviously have to adapt it to suit our purpose, but it's a good reference for privacy policy in terms of use on here.
So did you go use a separate URL to get there?
This is a separate site, yeah.
I mean, all of these should be connected to that one central hub.
Yeah, in Canberra they don't use Meetup for their user group meetings. They're going to be using this site instead. So it's basically so they can do their local announcements of meetings and post speaker notes and that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's not competing against Joomla.org.au because they're sort of serving different purposes.
Just a question. Does Meetup have an API?
It does. And speaking of that, I've actually
Maybe we could just
started
feed-
putting together a module to feed the data in from the various meetup groups.
Oh, you're right.
There's a little screenshot of it. Like, obviously haven't done the styling or anything like that, but you can see it's got the Sydney meeting there. It's got the one here from Melbourne, from our next Sydney CBD one, the next Joomla WA. So it's just on date order at the moment, just sucking in from the different meetup groups and bringing that information in. And so on the news side, I'd like to have things like this that are getting that content from those satellite sites into our main site, and also getting the news from Joomla.org.au fed directly into it via RSS or however we're going to do it, and just have more content that's automated that people don't have to go looking for it. They just go to that one place and they know they're going to get it.
Brilliant for us leading into the meetings. I won't have to chase all over the place to look up the information anymore.
Yeah. So that's part of my plan there to be.
Yeah, it looks quite good.
Obviously, we'll make it look pretty. That's only just getting the data in there.
Cool.
Oh wow, Peter's saying that WordPress had 70 people last night at the meeting. That's massive.
Yeah, they're WordPress have got good publicity, and people don't read articles like you were mentioning the Butterfly one, the hardware comparison, which was hardware. The Joomla and Drupal comparison from a programmer's point of view. People don't read stuff like that. They just see surface. And we've got a lot of graphic designers running around who can use WordPress. Therefore, they're not necessarily producing good websites, but they're producing income for themselves. And so consequently, that's what we're fighting against as well. And that's how WordPress gets its publicity, is through designers and that as well. And maybe we bring some of that back in and harness it. And I do convert the odd WordPress person once you show them the control and so on, and because a person who doesn't know Joomla just says, oh, it's too difficult to use, WordPress is easy. I mean, if you've always used Joomla, you think the same of WordPress, really.
That's true.
You have WordPress converted there.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just quickly go around the table again and see if anyone else has got any other comments to add, and then we can wrap it up and we can get stuck into our pizzas we've got here.
It's getting cold, guys.
So, I'm going to squeeze mouthfuls, so Hardy, do you got anything else to add?
Not really. Just the other activities that we've been planning to do as well. But maybe we can have a think about this stuff next weekend on the drive up or down.
Yep.
But don't mention that anything at all, so we keep it out.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm good.
I like what's been discussed here. I like the idea of a one-stop shop for Joomla. And if there's AdWords money going and getting spent, and you're going to do a search for content management or whatever it is, and you get Joomla results, you come back to that point. You can actually have a look at the sites that are working. You can have a look at some basic training. You can have a look at how to do this, how to do that. Get a warm feeling about the product. How to contact a developer. How to get started. How to design your website, etc. Those are the things that I was looking for 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And if I did the research and I said, okay, why did I go with Joomla and not with WordPress? It was because I understood that Joomla can do more than WordPress, and maybe WordPress is caught up now. I'm not sure. But you probably also want to see some comparisons. I mean, they've got 19% of the market. Joomla's got 3%. Why? And why do people who know both products prefer Joomla? But if you can get all the information in one place, I'd be happy.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like, the only thing is just how you structure it so that it's easy to find depending on who you are, like what you're looking for needs to be easy to find, and that's going to be the hardest thing, just structuring the site. But
Not really. It might be quite simple.
but if you've got,
Once we go through Pete's process, I think
yeah,
it's easier way, so you can really knock that out a bit of it. Yeah. Been asking 3 questions, so this will recommend eventually. Comes to.
Okay. Drew, do you have anything else to add?
It's interesting listening to you techie people, because you're talking about Joomla and a CMS, and for me as a business owner, I'm talking about digital business. So everything that we're doing here is what digital business is, and my argument is that everyone in business, in a service industry, needs to have a digital business arm. So the questions we're asking, the things we're doing are the very same things that many small businesses need to know about. So perhaps a central site could also have available speakers where particular small business groups could say, would someone come and talk to us in general terms about digital business, the core being a CMS and all those types of things, and you could charge that service as well. I'll put my hand up to actually do speaking in that regard in non-technical way, and then take a technical person with me. So I think we can all enhance the value of a central site, and because digital business is wherever you are in Australia, it makes great sense to be able to say, look, I've got some colleagues in Brisbane who can do X, Y, Z. And here is the central site that we all revolve around. So I'm excited, happy to put my hand up and help, but I think also that there's opportunity there for speaking in business growth and just helping people learn about the basics of digital business. Just a thought.
Yep. I think that's a really good idea to have a available speaker list where other groups can book people from our community to come and tell them about web stuff and Joomla, and
yeah,
it could be interesting.
What is?
Yeah. I was going to say we're using one way, so basically we could go backwards as well. We could go back into the SEO groups and that as well, because they don't know that Joomla has plugins for their SEO devices and so on. I got asked that question the other day. You know, can Joomla accept Facebook feeds? Can it do this? So they're prompting the only thing they know, which is WordPress, to their people as well, which is an area we do need to get speakers back into those areas, those groups. The only other thing I had to add, it will be the last thing for the night, I promise, is that I know we're doing the personas, but for the membership, which you spoke about, for instance, for commercial members, I'd like to see that it's commercial members that are actually putting back into the group as well, not just they get a free run of, you know, whatever they want on a technical point of view because they pay a membership fee for the year. I think it should be a two-way street. I think that got mentioned anyway, so it's probably covered, but I just thought I'd put my 2 bobs worth in on that.
Yeah, Hardy was making the suggestion that the requirement to be listed on the resource directory is that you contribute content to the site, and we'd have to define what that contribution is, maybe a minimum of so many videos or so many articles or something or other.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's no different to being a member of Parliament. I mean, you've got to make so many speeches per year. It's the same sort of thing. The idea is you're going to pull away, you know, you're going to pull something out of there, so you've got to put something in.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I think we're more intelligent than politicians, but it's just an example.
Yeah. Peter, do you have any more to add? You there, Peter?
Pete's off having tea.
You just add a commercial member as a member.
He's got it on mute at the moment, so we can't hear him. He's hiding behind the boxes, probably. Drinking some tea. No, he's not there.
Peter, come back.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, so I'll put together this feedback that we've had tonight, put it together in a document and send it out to get some feedback from people who weren't involved tonight. And yeah, we can start working on those personas, and yeah, once we've got the overall vision set, then we can start getting people to actually volunteer to implement some of these specific things.
So why don't we video this process? Because anybody who's going to be building a website is going to be through what content do we want to put on this website, and how do we go about structuring it? What template do we use? How do we go about designing it? Why are we going to choose version 3? And this could be a video.
Yeah, and this verifies that you understand real world problems and you have the solution, and that's what digital business is all about. Great suggestion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks guys for joining us, and we'll get stuck in our pick for now. And obviously, if there's anything else you think of, just get in touch with me and send through your comments or feedback or whatever. And yeah, we'll talk to you all soon.
But before you ring off, we should actually just. Are you recording that?
I was trying to record it, but it failed. Technology said, I don't want to play the game. I was trying to run too many things.
So, let's turn off the screen sharing.
Hi, Tim.
Yep. See you later.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See you all.
Yeah, how do we stop this thing? Hang up.
Oh, there you go.
See ya.